Welcome to Ken's Corner Podcast, Season 3. Get ready for expert analysis and rising wrestling stars. Now here we go with your host, Ken Judge.
Hey everyone, we're back for this episode of Sports Chatter on Ken's Corner. We're actually going to take the week off next week and come back at the draft, and maybe we'll have JT back in tow after he's actually going to be down in Las Vegas for that draft. I remember him mentioning that, so that's really cool. But anyway, I got my panel in tow with me here today, Mr. Ian all the way out in Nova Scotia. George Garbett out in Calgary, Alberta, Gordon in the downtown of Toronto in the heart of Leaf Nation, and Phil just on the little bit of the outskirts in Durham. How is everyone doing today?
Fantastic. How about you, Ken?
Yeah.
Awesome. So the big news of the week as far as the Leafs go, we'll talk a little bit about the Stanley Cup in Game 1 last night and your opinions on that next. But we're going to talk about Lane Lambert and what it means to be associate coach, because he's not the assistant coach, he's actually the associate coach. Does anyone care to elaborate on what that means? Ian, do you have an opinion on that?
I was going to ask you. I was going to ask the panel. What exactly does it mean? To me, it sounds like maybe it's a step down from assistant. I'm not sure.
I think it's actually a step up.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Closer
it's A+.
Am I right, Phil?
I don't know what the difference is between the associate and the assistant, to be completely honest. I can tell you, though, that he's a very established assistant associate coach. He's been an assistant or an associate for 11 seasons. He was on the 2018 Stanley Cup winning Washington Capitals team.
Yeah.
He was the head coach the last couple of years in the Islanders, where he took the Islanders to a 61, 46, and 20 record. So
finals.
Mm-hmm.
So to answer your question that you just said there, on what the actual difference is, it's the head coach, then the associate coaches, then the assistant coaches, in terms of the power that they're given and where they actually fit in. So he's actually going to be right below Berube
on the bench.
On the bench in terms of decision making, things like that. It also depends on who else they bring in, because the rumor mill goes crazy every time some of the old timers come into town. Everybody's joining the bench. You know, so
George,
I've heard Clark, I've heard Gilmore.
Yeah.
I've heard Darcy Tucker might be coming in as an assistant coach to help with some of the toughness.
Wow.
They've mentioned a few. Savard's name's gone around, but I don't know. And I guess it really depends. I mean, if you're putting Wendell Clark and Doug Gilmore behind the Leafs bench, somebody better bring something home, and it better be silver and of a cup variety, because if not, there's going to be a lot of screaming fans.
Well, I have to say that it wouldn't be far off to see Gilmore behind there, because he has had some work with the Kingston Frontenacs as far as coaching and managing a team.
Is he still GM there?
He is not. I believe he's a Leaf alumni. I actually gave him props a couple of times and played fanboy. I know Phil has done so as well at Blue Jay game, and I actually seen him when I was down selling tickets for Leaf games there one night. George, associate coach, does that mean if he's the second in charge to you, if something happens and Craig Berube gets removed, is Lane Lambert the next guy up?
Yes.
Well, I guess that's what it would mean to me. And let's hope nothing ever happens to Berube. Let's keep him in the spot that he's there for.
Yeah. Phil, are you hearing any other names as far as who is going to be our coaches, and why the heck is Guy Boucher still have a job in Toronto, or is he going to get bumped up? Are they going to keep him around? Anyone know?
Right.
Phil, we'll start with you.
I think Guy Boucher has proven himself to be a valuable asset to any coaching staff that he's going to be a part of. Will he still be around? God only knows, right? But if he is still around, can he be an asset to the team? I 100% believe so.
Gordon,
what about moving him to the PP as opposed to the PK?
Well, that's something right there. Gord, what do you think about that? Will he just get a new job in Toronto and stick on?
I think they're probably still going to stick him on. I don't think they're going to. I think that might be somebody Berube could lean on. Somebody that's been there, has the coaching experience, knows what it's like. But at the same point, you never know. He may move them all together, or may just get rid of them. I could see him moving him into a different role if they're going to bring in guys for the individual areas, which I think they kind of need to do. They need a power play guy separate from the penalty kill, in my opinion, because you've got two different areas. The question is Marner coming back?
Yeah, well, that's another question we're going to have. And I know Phil was going to say we did have Manny Malhotra on the penalty kill, and Boucher was our power play. Now, anyway, to answer your question, I was reading some tweet from Chris Johnson. Well known, everyone knows who Chris Johnson is. He has actually been here on Ken's Corner with me. But anyway, he said there's 0% chance that the Leafs core four are back together. Do you guys agree with that?
Zero?
He says zero. What do you think, Ian?
Oof. I mean, listen, it doesn't sound like that's what the coaching staff and all the powers that be, that's not what they spoke about at the end of the year presser. I don't know how we do that and have a successful season without it getting it completely in the way of the product on the ice. Now, Berube is such a great, I guess the thinking is maybe we run it again with Berube, a great coach, but how do we win in this situation with what the Marner situation and keeping him versus getting rid of him, the circus that would cause?
Yeah. George, I seen you shaking your head. You don't agree with Mr. Johnson.
No, not at all. Let's keep our core four. Let's do what we've been doing. And we've had such great success making it to playoffs. So let's keep it there, and then let's keep trucking on that track.
Yeah. Phil, do you have an opinion?
Originally I said that I'd want to see the core four stay together under Berube, give them a shot to see what he can pull out of them. The fact of the matter is that the upper management's going to do whatever they want to do. It doesn't matter what the coaches want, what the players want, what the fans want. If they think that they can get rid of Marner for assets moving forward, and we've got that extra cap space, they announced that the cap's gone up to 88 million, which is 4.5% increase. Who knows what they have planned? In Shannon we trust, hopefully.
Yeah, actually, there is a quote from Treleaven's documentaries and things that he said over the time. Gord, I'm going to ask you this. Do you believe him when he says we're not going to make a trade just to beat our own chest? We're going to make a trade that actually benefits the Toronto Maple Leafs. Do you agree with him? And do you believe what Mr. Treleaven said?
Well, based on what he did in Calgary, I'd say his track record is correct. He didn't make the trade with Tkachuk because he wanted to beat his own drum. It's because Tkachuk wanted out. Yeah. They didn't have a chance to do anything with him. Do I think he's going to move Marner for absolutely nothing? No, I don't. I think if he's going to move Marner or he's going to move any of the core four, he's going to have to get something big in return, because if he doesn't, he's going to get all the Toronto Maple Leaf fans revolting. And I can honestly say, really and truly, I don't think he's going to move Marner now. I think he's going to give Berube a chance to see what he can do with the core four in the beginning. And if, just so to speak, if it starts going downhill, he's got many bargaining chips in his back pocket. But the question is, what's he going to get for them mid-season?
Yeah.
Trade deadline.
Here's food for thought, boys. Here's food for thought. What if we signed him to 11 times 8 with no trade clause? So we do give him a chance to see what he does with a new coach, because he's such a spectacular player, but it gives the team back some power that says, okay, if it's really not working, now we can trade you and get something in return.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all.
I think if he is going to do something, it's going to be based on a contract that they overall can, if they need to move him down the road, it would be somewhere that he would agree to move if they needed to do it down the
So
road.
maybe a modified no trade, maybe a 10 team. Actually, I want to add in real quick to what Gord was saying. Let's relive that trade in Calgary. He traded Kachuk, yes, to Florida, who's obviously starring on that team and is a big reason they're where they are right now. Other than Bob Brodsky, obviously, what he did to Edmonton last night, which wasn't unexpected, really. But let's relive that trade. And see and remember what Tree Living got in that trade. He got 103-point Jonathan Huberdeau in return. Yes, he only got 60 points the next 2 seasons in Calgary after his contract, but he did get that good player. And Mackenzie Weegar, who is what does he get 15, 20 goals for Calgary this year? Like, if he brings us back a package like that, that is what I'm personally looking at. If we're gonna have anything then and not have Marner, because I'm not disagreeing with you. I am a Mitch Marner fan since day one, like us all. And anyway, we're gonna move on real quick, guys. We're gonna talk about the playoffs, but I want to talk a little bit about what I showed you guys in those pictures. You all had a chance to take a look at the pictures of all the great Maple Leaf stuff. The story behind it is a lady. She was inherited these products, all leaf paraphernalia, and she's selling them in support of the Markham Stouffville Hospital. Her name's
Amazing cause.
her name is Fariba, and this is one of the great things. I'm going to show you guys a couple of things that she gave me, and you know what? There's still some things up for sale if you're interested. I'm sure she'd ship it out to you. Now, this is one of the things, Maple Leafs handbook. With it's got the I don't know if you can see it, but there you go. It's got the Maple Leaf thing inside. She gave me a nice little
there you go. Pin.
Pin, and it lights up. And there's another little coat thing here for your keys. A Christmas decoration. And if you take a really good look at some of those pictures, you'll find everything from the old hanging lamp shades with the Leafs on it. I had one way back when. Lots of Matt Sundin stuff. This is one of the best ones that she gifted me, and I don't know, maybe I'll re-gift it and send it to Calgary for George for Christmas.
Don't tell him. That's a bad lighter, bro.
Yeah, this is it, Bo. And a little thing here, you can put your own picture. So it'd be you with a Leaf jersey on. And the last thing I is really, really cool. It is called a game night light. And this thing will take the logo of the Maple Leafs, and at nighttime, it'll shine it onto the wall from 10 feet away.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. So it's called the game night light.
Cool.
That's kind of what it looks like when it's shining, I guess.
That's cool, man.
But anyway, let's pause 2 seconds, guys. We're going to hear the words from our gracious host of this event here in Stouffville. And I'm here at the Stouffville Market, and we're standing in front of this Leaf paraphernalia. It's quite a lot more than I have at home, that's for sure. And we're going to talk to the lady responsible for this.
Hello. My name is Fariba, and my sister collects this Maple Leaf, Toronto Maple Leaf. She's a very big fan of Toronto Maple Leaf for 35 years. She was only cashier in Canadian Tire, and then she worked hard with this collection, very hard. And she lives in Windsor, Ontario, and then she decided to donate all her stuff to Markham Stouffville Hospital for good cost. Please come and see whatever we have, and be more than happy to see you here. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you. Okay, now we're back, and I hope everyone enjoyed that part of our show. I really love when people give back to the community, and I actually really love when they give Leaf things to me too. So that's a good perk of the job, boys.
Not bad,
Now
not bad.
let's talk about the Stanley Cup and our feelings on what has happened. Phil, you called this from day one, Edmonton. Boo, but you were right. And you know what? It isn't so bad having the first Canadian team since Montreal in 2021. Let's rub that one off, because that was not a very good Stanley Cup playoffs for the Toronto Maple Leafs, as
No,
we all
not
know.
good.
So, but what is your feelings going forward? Are you still pro Edmonton after that 3-0 win? And it looks like Bobrovsky has got their number.
Well, let's take into consideration what Edmonton's been through this year after their horrific start. Coaching change, went on to be one of the best teams in the league, as much as what we might not like it. I watched an interview with Korner, and they asked him what the difference is with the team this year, and he said that they're not carrying any rookies. Everyone is of their age group and kind of a fixture in the NHL. They're not having to baby anyone this year around. Everyone knows what their jobs are, and they are they're working towards that ultimate goal. Now, the one thing that I did see last night was a mistake by Connor. He gave an extra 2 or 3 feet on a play that went to Barkov, which ultimately ended up leading to the first goal. He did an extra little step or two as he was covering Barkov, gave Barkov that little sliver, and that's all that Florida needs, man.
Yeah. Speaking of Barkov, Ian, is he possibly going to be the MVP if Florida keeps going the way they are?
If they win,
and,
yes.
and they win the series? Is it Bob Barkov or is it Bobrovsky? Who has to play better for the rest of the series? Everyone can have
I think Barkov. I think Barkov, because he's shutting down McDavid and doing it handily. Well, not handily, but shutting down McDavid is the key to this whole series. I mean, listen, Bobrovsky knows. To me, we're looking at a team that has learned from losing last year, so they know exactly. I think the pressure is different. If I'm the coach, I'm trying to have them just have fun. Just have fun out there.
Well, the fact is, last night's game with that 35 shots on net, 19 of them were from 4 players: McDavid, Hyman, Draisaitl, and Bouchard.
Yeah.
Now, George, do you have anyone else that takes a big chunk of Edmonton's? That might be their core 4 right there.
Yes.
To get it done, who has to put a goal in for Edmonton?
Well, I think Hyman is going to break the ice. I think his tenacity in front of the net is going to be breaking the ice there. I'm really, I think Florida's going to take it. I think it's going to be it's going to be a five game Stanley Cup series. I think Florida's going to take it, and I'm also glad to see that Corey Perry isn't doing anything other than taking penalties.
Well, Corey Perry has the reverse. What's his name in Boston there this year? Patrick Maroon. Patrick Maroon went to the Stanley Cup in how many straight years? And he won the cup every year.
Yeah.
Corey Perry's a reverse. He goes to the Stanley Cup every year, but he loses every year.
Yeah. So, happened to a nicer guy.
Yeah, maybe it's right that we didn't bring him on. But then again, we might have went to the Stanley Cup with him, right? So, Gord, did you happen to watch the start of this NHL Stanley Cup Finals? And if you did, well, tell me, did you first?
I did, yeah. I watched.
How did you like the intros in the start of the game? And there's something new. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. They brought the Stanley Cup on the ice before the first game. Yeah. How did you feel about that?
That's the first time in NHL history that they've brought it out in game 1 for any reason whatsoever. And to me, I feel like you're taking the whole presence of the Stanley Cup away from when it's supposed to be brought out, which is when it's about to be won, whether it's game 7 game 4, game 5, whatever it is, you're taking that whole illusion of the cup of being brought out at that time, which for a lot of people that are just starting to watch hockey, you're seeing the newer stuff coming in, the introductions. You're seeing a lot of different things. I'm not a fan of it, honestly. I think they should have left it the way it was. I like the introductions, but I'm not exactly a fan of bringing the cup on the ice in game 1.
So odd.
So your old school attitude, Phil. Do you have the same opinion, or are you have a difference?
Maybe the people of Sunrise, Florida don't know what it looks like, so they wanted to remind them. Since it's
Well,
only been to Tampa.
They did if they watched the games in Tampa Bay, but you're right. Florida has never actually won the Stanley Cup in their
I
history.
know they were all told not to touch the cup.
That's right.
Well, the conference championships, they never touch it. I think I've seen it maybe once.
I think Vancouver did that year, I believe.
Yeah, and look what happened to them. They ended up in a riot. The city's rioted, but at least Vancouver picks when the right time to riot. Montreal rioted when they won the Stanley Cup. Like I never understood.
Well,
that
that's
part.
French people for you.
Yeah. Does anyone have a different opinion to what Gore was saying? Do you enjoy seeing the Stanley Cup? I think.
Listen, for a team, for a sport that's so full of tradition as hockey is, to break with this one is like, you're not supposed to see your bride before the wedding. And it was an odd move. Are they going to do it in Edmonton as well? Like,
No,
it just
I don't
felt
think
like,
so.
what are we doing here?
Well, you know what? The way I kind of seen it a little bit, like I'm not against the way what you guys are saying. I like the old school way as well. But maybe they showed it to them so the team would be that extra hungrier. That's what we're fighting for right there. Do you think maybe that's
These boys have been playing this game since they're 5 years old.
Yeah.
They know exactly what they're playing for. If they got to see it, then maybe they're in the wrong sport.
And some of their contracts, if they're not playing for the money and they're playing for the cup, you don't need to see the cup to know what you're playing for.
Absolutely. I don't even want to see it until I own it a bit.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Right?
All right. Well, we're going to finish off. Do you have it, Phil? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I didn't understand it. I watched it. I saw them bring it out. I thought it was weird. Are they going to do it in Edmonton? I don't think so. It's one of these Bettman things that he seems to doesn't care about the tradition of the game or anything else, and it's one of his quirks that I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
American.
Yeah, there's another Gary Bettman.
Bettman being Bettman, right? Go back to the NBA, Gary Bettman.
Yeah,
he's only been here 30 years, but that's besides the point.
What have you done for
29 and a half too long?
Yeah, I just want to address, I know we're probably getting to the end of our show here right now, but June 20th is the final voting for the new Utah team. And from what I'm hearing, the two leading names are Yeti and Hockey Club. Like, are we in your boys?
That's stupid.
Stupid.
Does anyone like either of those names?
No, they're terrible. Why have they not gone for Mustangs? Because Utah has all those wild Mustangs. It just seems like a missed opportunity. These two names are terrible. These are uninspired, and it's awful.
If I have to hear the Utah Yetis is playing the Toronto Maple Leafs, this is not going to be a hockey. What sport are we playing? No. I mean, you're going to go with any one of the two of them. You can call it the hockey club. I get they don't, really have that whole idea if they're even staying in Utah, but you can't call them. No, just no.
Phil, you might have a different opinion because I heard your son say in our group chat that would actually have a great jersey selling. Having a Yeti on a jersey might sell and appeal to the younger generation. Do you agree with your son?
I don't hate the Yeti. I think that the Mammoth or the Venom or some of the Blizzard, some of the other ones were kind of a little more subpar. I don't like the Hockey Club at all. I understand what they're doing with the European game, and soccer clubs, football clubs have have that the FC or whatever. I think everyone should have a nickname, not just a hockey club.
Yeah. Okay, guys, we're going to address one thing is just a little bit off the board before we go. It's just this crazy thing I seen. The Jays are still the Toronto Blue Jays are still subpar 500 right now. I think we're 2 games, maybe 3 games below 500, and the rumors are starting to circulate because Bichette, not Dante, but Bo Bichette and Vladdy Guerrero are yet to be signed, and that's like not signing Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner or Nylander in for the Leafs. That's basically what we're saying here. And apparently the Chicago Cubs are interested in acquiring Guerrero. Phil, you're a baseball guy. What do you think about this? And what the heck would we ask the Cubs for?
I'm not sure what the Cubs roster looks like right now. I know why the Cubs would be interested in Vladdy. He's a power hitting first baseman, although he started the season pretty low over the last 35 games. I think he's been the number 3 hitter in Major League Baseball. He's batting just under 300 now with 6-7 home runs. So his game has definitely come around. He's already got a hit in today's game. So I'm not surprised that teams are looking at him for a legitimate move.
Yeah. Anyone else want to add to that? George?
Well, maybe they got a couple of pitchers we can source out of them. He didn't have a very good start at all, and it would have been better if he was. I mean, he is a good hitter. He's a good first baseman, but that's a slow start, and that's held up our team pretty good. And that's why we're below 500.
Yeah, well, you know what? I agree with you, George. When Guerrero came in, this is supposed to be our Austin Matthews.
Right.
And I'm not seeing 69 goals, which would be maybe 50 home runs a season from Guerrero. So he's a little bit off of what expectations, and maybe a new start would help him. You know what? He might go to Chicago and hit 50 home runs every year in the National League. But
the problem is, if no one's performing around him, then he's not getting the fastballs to hit home runs off of. He's a free swinging guy. Major League Baseball pitchers, coaching staffs are smart enough to throw you changeups, off-speed pitches, the slurs outside that he's trying to hit that are too far off the plate. He can't hit them. He's not getting fastballs because Bichette's not hitting. He's not like the top of our order. Springer, Varsho, Bichette, Guerrero, they've all been struggling.
now.
They've all been struggling.
Changed the lineup and ended up putting Schneider at the top with Danny Jansen batting second.
Yeah,
because these guys are not. They're chasing pitches galore. If you're not getting the same rotation that you were getting when he was hitting the home runs, of these guys getting on or these guys swinging, not at pitches that are way off the plate, he probably will come back. I mean, the last 30 games, I think he started to come back to the way that he was before. But I don't see them getting rid of either one of them at the moment, but getting closer to the trade deadline, I could see if they end up staying the pattern that they're on right now of staying below 500 and last in the East, that they could possibly move one of the two of them. I highly doubt they will, but it's a possibility.
Yeah.
Is that a total rebuild, or would that be a rebuild on the fly if they were getting?
Well, I personally would like to remove our general manager, but that's a different story altogether.
Can we don't have the rest of the time for Cat?
No, we don't. George, I don't know if you know, but Alec Manoah has an arm injury. Is this the end of his career?
Well, yeah, I do know about that, and he just came back from surgery and stuff like that, and now he's going back into. He's off the bench again. I don't know how severe it is, but hopefully it'll fix so that he doesn't hit so many freaking batters.
Yeah.
He's having surgery next week.
Season ending.
And it's season ending, so he will be down completely. So he'll be put on the 60-day, which will free up more room for them to maneuver for players. But the Jays don't have much in their farm system in terms of pitchers, starting
No.
pitchers, to be able to bring up to even help. Batting wise, they've got a lot of guys down there that can hit, but
Yeah.
they've got no pitching.
I actually want to say something 1 second before we go. Phil or anyone, we'll start with Phil. We only got about 3 minutes, but Kevin Biggio, let's talk about, because you were talking about the minors, Gord. He has been disqualified. He's been sent down to the minors. Spencer Horowitz has gotten the call up. Is this the end for Kevin Biggio? Do we move on from him real quick?
Oh, we're moving on from him. He's going to end up getting traded. There's lots of teams out there that Kevin can go to, get more playing time, and he's a good ball player. He's a very intelligent ball player. He is very instinctually attached to the game. He makes a lot of bang bang plays, quick baseball IQ. Fact of the matter, as we were talking about Bichette and Guerrero, if they do move on from these guys, we will not be doing a rebuild from what I've heard. It's going to be a retooling with the pitching staff that we've got with our 4 starters. Just in the last 4 games, they've pitched 6+ innings. Gosman had a complete game shutout yesterday. So with these guys that we have under contract, it will be a retooling, I believe.
Awesome. So that is for all the baseball people out there yelling at Ken's Corner saying, where the heck is baseball? We're in summertime. Come on now. So now you got your baseball talk from hockey fans. So that's kind of crazy. Thanks a lot, guys, for sticking on here. Episode, I think 5. God, we're flying along. I'm going to miss you guys next week, but we're going to come back with so much content. I mean, the Toronto Argos are starting their season without Chad Kelly. Without Chad Kelly, right? So there's tons of stuff to talk about. I'm going to take a roll call here before we go. I am Ken from Ken's Corner, and this is Ian out in Nova Scotia, George out in Calgary, Gordon, the heart of Leaf Nation, downtown Toronto, and Phil, I'm not going to tell anyone where he is. He's in Durham region. I ain't putting it on you, buddy.
That's all you need to know.
And this is
Not
Sports
Oshawa.
Chatter, as we're still chattering, not Oshawa. He's not in Oshawa, not on Salina Street. Not that we have any problem with Oshawa, people. Please watch and subscribe. Hit that button right there, right, guys? Hit that button. This is what it's all about, YouTube. All right, this is Ken on Ken's Corner, and I've been happy and excited always to be on with my team here on Sports Chatter. Thank you, guys, and have a great day.
Ian too.
Have a good one.
Bye, guys.